What's this crazy horror game you're looking at? It isn't. It's Mr. Mosquito. I'm gonna take a quick beat to let the game set it up for you.
Welcome to the home of the Yamada family. It's summer. Do you like summer? Summer drives people crazy, and that makes them commit terrible acts.
So when they say people, they mean mosquitoes. And those acts are surviving, or living, for the very short period of time that mosquitoes actually live. This game does have a little bit of a skewed idea on how long mosquitoes actually do live for, because the whole purpose is that you are draining blood from the lovely Yamada family, who are just a typical, three-member household, who are just trying to go through their normal summer, enjoying lives, while this mosquito needs to collect enough blood from these individuals to survive through the long winter. Because apparently mosquitoes live through the winter, and hibernating and feasting on your blood is how they do it. So you're going to go through a whole bunch of stages, all of which are various rooms throughout the house, like a living room, a bedroom, bathroom, family room, storage closet, all of the things. And in those places, you're going to interact with the Yamada family and try to drain their blood. It very much plays like an arcade, like dogfighting almost. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Crimson Skies or Ace Combat. The control isn't as tight as something like that, but it's very much along those lines. You're flying through these various environments, which is kind of fun. It's that little thing in a normal size space, and you get that bit of interest that you would from watching something like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or playing the various Micro Machines games that have been released over the years. It's that kind of little bit of intrigue, and you're going to fly around. Eventually, you're going to want to land on these family members and puncture their skin, drain their blood, and you want to do so in a manner that's not going to aggravate them or raise their stress too high, because if their stress level hits that certain threshold, they'll just one-shot kill you. There's no any kind of like coming back from that. It is just straight game over. Now, in the regular combat, where they're swinging their arms about and they're knocking you around, you'll take little bits of damage to your health bar, but you won't get killed outright. So far, the only place that I've found you'll die straight up is if you irritate them too much while draining their blood, and they will kill you. No questions asked. Now, onto the combat. While they're swinging their arms around wildly, you're going to try to get in and find these various pressure points on their body, and by ramming into those pressure points, you're going to just instantly calm them down. So depending on the individual and depending on the level, they do have various different pressure points. Sometimes you only need one, sometimes you need two, sometimes you need three, but ultimately you're going to try to attach to these people, you're going to try to drain enough blood, which I did think it was kind of fun that the more blood you drain, your mosquito actually does get like a little bit thicker, which is kind of fun because he's essentially storing that in himself or in these jars or whatever. And yeah, you drain the blood, mission complete. It is kind of a bummer that a lot of the levels do have a time restraint to them. You only have so much time to kind of get all of that blood, that sweet, sweet blood, and then move on from that stage to the next. You'll get a little, hey, new best time, or hey, you didn't do so great this time, but stage complete, and then you move on. It would be nice to be able to have more time to kind of explore the environment a little bit, because again, it's that fun, small thing in a normal sized place, so you're kind of getting to see all that stuff from a different point of view. And then, you can kind of interact with certain things, like there are light switches you can turn off to kind of distract the humans. You can turn the music on, again, to distract the humans. I honestly didn't really see much benefit to distracting them. I thought it was a lot more easy to latch onto them and suck their sweet, sweet blood while they were just in their, like, natural laying position, or standing position, depending on the stage. This game is incredibly weird. If you haven't noticed that by now, it is incredibly weird. And I think that's something really fun because back in the PlayStation 2 era, PlayStation 1 era, you got weird things like this. Companies were willing to take a swing. Like this was released in North America by Eidos under one of their kind of boutique. It was Fresh, was the label. But this was like Eidos is a big company, and they took a swing on this weird title that was, to be fair, released by Sony in Japan. So it's not like it was just some nobody who kind of made it. But we we don't get that anymore. We don't get companies taking weird swings at things that maybe don't work. And it's a real bummer. You'll see stuff like this still, but it's typically, very small indie developers who will kind of release it on some kind of like virtual platform, like whether it's Steam or like PlayStation Network, the Nintendo eShop, that kind of stuff. You won't get physical copies of this unless it kind of maybe strikes a chord with somebody and becomes a little bit of a favorite, and then you'll get someone like a limited run who will pick it up and actually release a physical copy of this. You just don't get that kind of stuff anymore. So it's a neat little time capsule, and I love going back, especially the PlayStation 2 era, to see stuff like this, because it's just so incredibly strange. Nothing about this game makes sense. Like, you're playing what's essentially a flight game, but also trying to drain blood from people, and the dialogue is uncomfortably sexualized in a teen game. It just doesn't compute. if that makes any sense to you guys. But I have a lot of fun playing stuff like this. If you have a chance, if you can find yourself a copy of Mr. Mosquito, I would say definitely grab it, try it. If you've ever played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's not a whole lot here as far as like unlockables, other than different colored mosquitoes and some different like shaped mosquitoes, but really like there's no additional gameplay. So I mean, going around and finding all the collectibles, maybe it's a bit of a waste of time, but yeah, just the playing through the regular gameplay on its own, I think is absolutely worth it. It is a huge gem and a perfect example of why the PlayStation 2 era was just so special and I think important to gaming.